Minecraft, but I'm not allowed a base. This might seem like it's a hard challenge to face, but the true joy of 1.20 lies in exploration's grace and the challenge of finding all the armor trims in this infinite place. This was an insanely hard challenge because I did it in the early 1.20 snapshots where armor trims were much rarer. Oh, and because they're snapshots, it means we're playing medium salmon edition and my odds of dying are much fairer. This is something you're going to see a lot during the run, and at the end I'll reveal how many times I died in the 100 days, as well as all of the other bizarre stats you're going to want to know. But let's get straight into the first day, because of course I want to go right to where the structures are, but first I have to do the classic first day ritual, which is chopping down a tree, finding some food, wow, melons for me, and then obviously going through a ruin portal. We call it, oh god, oh lord, am I gonna die? Okay, if I was going to die, that would have heading into the Nether, spending 10 minutes of traversing the place, finding a Nether fortress, and going through every single chest to discover there's nothing in there. But that is absolutely everything the Nether fortress has for me, with actually one key exception. Is there a second thing I had to enable? There might have been. Also, please, not right now. Okay, you're on fire. That's what you deserve. Okay, you deserve it as well, but I'm gonna die if I make you deserve it. Okay, so just... Is that gonna work? No, it's not. We're gonna have to... No, no, no! This death might seem tragic, but I think it turned out to be a good thing, and not for the reasons I said during the stream. The good news about that death is it's a reminder that if you play around in the Nether, you will die. But instead, because I could treat this 48-minute excursion into the Nether as just a dream. My stuff was mostly in the lava anyway, and it was really far away from spawn, so why don't I treat this as a fresh start with a world I vaguely know, and try and find a structure, and boom, 5 minutes later, I genuinely do. It's a little bit dark, but as you can see, this is a full-on pillager outpost, which means that I get a goat horn for free. Okay. I also get one of these lovely smithing templates that I can use to later trim my armor. This is the most common one of all of them, but I'm taking the win. It only took me an hour to get my first template, and I hope that there are more coming. However, while you watch the moments leading up to disaster right now, I'm going to quickly mention why there's a cat in the bottom left, because a lot of people are curious, not only what does it take to find all of the trims, it means going to all of these structures, by the way, but you also might be curious as to why there is this blinking cat. Maybe you don't want it there, but it's to cover up the face cam because this was streamed live. All 33 hours can be watched if you really want to. Although that's a disclaimer I don't think I have to add on this video, because it's not just this hoglin killing me right now as he knocks me in lava for a second time. It's the fact that after I finally get my stuff and I'm trying desperately to get back to the overworld, I get killed by a piglet. Let's just... Oh god! Damn, I am. Then I decide, you know, I'm here anyway, I'll get my blaze rods out of the way, and maybe a little mistake leads me to burn to death, and then finally I'm just trying to get home free and a piglin kills me for the 5th time in as many Minecraft days. This is my unfamiliarity with the Java edition and its weird combat and also different mob spawning mechanics, but let's be honest, it's entirely my fault. Something which I'll definitely be putting behind me, because things are going really good as I get back to my portal and set off in a boat. What am I heading towards? Well, it doesn't really matter because the boat only takes me to more jungle, where I find a jungle temple and indeed my second trim. Give me that. Oh yes, wild armor trim. This is all the proof you need that if you want to just get quantity of trims, the overworld is the place to be. But for me, I need to be able to go to the Nether, get both of those structures ticked off, as well as go to a stronghold and then the end, which is why I was excited to see Endermen and a little confused when my dog killed it and I didn't get any Ender Pearls. This is fine though, it's exactly what I expected. However, something I wasn't expecting to find so soon was a second pillager outpost, and then a shipwreck, and then a third pillager outpost, but none of those had trims yet. This was before the update where they made it a near guarantee, which is why it might be surprising now to see that actually the 4th pillager outpost gave me nothing as well. In fact, I decided to take this out on a nearby village, giving them a pillager raid, and then, you know, figuring they could deal with it by themselves. I mean, I haven't heard anything from the village yet, and you know what they say, no news is good news, and that definitely applies to when a deadly force of pillagers is taking over the place you live. And now you're all tricked, right? You're like, wow, that man... Yeah, we got it. Okay. And so I set my path for the stronghold by throwing my one Eye of Ender. However, no news is good news, and the fact that I'm telling you about it lets you know that the Eye of Ender does eventually break, and we have no idea where. which is pretty darn tragic, but I decide to wipe up my tears by getting a diamond sword and going hunting for Enderman. And do you know how many I found in the entire night? If you guess 0, that would be right. And so I go to the Nether instead, knowing that this is actually the best place to find some Enderman. And so within just a short night over there, I have all 12 Ender pearls I need, which means it's time to search for a fortress for Trims, because if I've done so well with Ender pearls, I'm surely going to find a Nether fortress. But not for the first time in this video, I have to say no. And so instead, I go looking for a stronghold. This actually goes really well, really quickly. I find it, I find an end portal, and I find diamonds and the other side music disc. And whoa, other side. This was one of my other goals for the series, to get as many collectible items as I can, and you better believe by the end of it I have a real fun collection. I'll show you that when we're done, as well as the stats about everything else we've collected. But for now, let's enjoy collecting the stronghold trim as well. Oh, yes! Oh! Yeah! That's cool. And let's go to the end itself. As I enter, I immediately start looking for an end city. I don't even bother killing the dragon, I just start bridging right out. This is one of my favorite things to do. However, when I ran the calculations, clearly I got it wrong, because I ended up just short of the first end city that I saw, which meant that I had to make the decision, one that I debated for so long, as to whether I should just sprint jump and throw an ender pearl. This is one of the bravest decisions I had to make for the entire run. I knew that if things failed, I would fall in the end, but fortunately, when I summoned up the courage, this happened. Okay. Oh, that went so far. That went so far. Oh, no, no, no. Well. Okay, so I had to go back into the end again using only this stuff right here, but it was totally worth it for the attempt, and I guess I learned a valuable lesson, and that valuable lesson includes raiding a lot of end cities. This was one of my favorite moments in Minecraft, because how often do you actually get to come out here at a moment in the game where the loot is genuinely useful? I get so many upgrades from the first end city, and the second, and the third, and the fourth, and you know, I'll skip going through all of this. It takes me 7 end cities to finally get my trim. Oh yeah! Yes, we finally, yes, chats. Oh, guess who's done? Oh, man. Thank God. But I put it in my end chest, which I now have because the end cities are full of them, and I prep for having to kill the dragon because there's only one way out of this dimension, and it's either her or me dying. And although me dying has happened a few times now, this time I'm pretty sure it's going to be her next. So to emotionally prepare for the dragon, I get as many chorus fruits as possible. I use my elytras, get them fully equipped. I make sure I have the very best armor on, and I intend to switch back and forth between it. This was not long after they added chestplate to elytra switching to Java. One of the better features that Minecraft Copy Edition has, I have to say. Anyway, with that said, the crazy thing about the dragon fight is the fact that I might have gone down in the first few minutes and had to do a take 2. Honestly, yep, we're gonna die to Enderman. We're gonna die to an Enderman, of all things. It's the Enderman that gets us. Oh, I didn't put my ender chest down. Oh. But in that moment, I realized that my chestplate had Curse of Vanishing, and so that is my true curse, is the number of deaths that I'll go through in this. But because I'm a nomad, I actually have nothing to lose from dying. I just have to go pick up my stuff, and there's nothing going bad, which is why after a few short minutes, I defeat the dragon. Look at that joy. Oh, and when you kill the dragon, the render distance gets expanded. That's a cool feature. And get her egg, which is another fun rare piece of loot that will go in my chest. I really am looking forward to showing you that chest, by the way, but first I need to mention that with having my end trim locked down, I will no longer have to come back to this dimension, which is kind of sad to say, but conversely, I have to say that during the day, using the Elytra way is the much more fun way to get my hands on this new trim from the Pillager Outpost. In we go. Yeah! That is another one for the collection. I'm really starting to pound my way through these and nothing can stop me now. Obviously, I'm gonna go for the Guardian one. This is the most unique armor trim because the only way to get it is to kill Elder Guardians, and the drop rates were very low at the time of recording, which meant I was gonna have to kill a lot of Elder Guardians, something which the Guardians decided to help me with by murdering me. Maybe that, okay, we're dying on all fronts. On all fronts here, on all fronts. Oh, no! This is a real tragedy because my coordinates were deep in the 5 digits, which meant that when they murdered me and I don't have a bed in the world, I go all the way back to this world spawn. This was over 9 hours ago, and even though I kind of prepared for death by having an ender chest, what is the ender chest useful for if you're at spawn and there's none of those here? Oh, this is going to be a journey. So I plan to make a nether portal and go all the way back to my closest ender chest from when I last checked my coordinates, which again, very, 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 very far away, but it goes very, very nice and easily. It only takes me 58 minutes to traverse the Nether and avoid all of the deaths on the way, but then I get my stuff back and I decide to take vengeance against the Elder Guardians, killing all 3 of them, but not getting a single trim, which means I have to now look for another ocean monument. I kill all 3 of those, and I do not get a single trim. And yeah, let's just say this is one of the more challenging trims at this point, but I decide to use the Nether to travel between each of these ocean monuments while looking from one to one. This is entirely blindly, by the way, no chunk base. I don't know the seed for this world, and so I just have to fly around with the Elytra, desperately hoping I find an ocean monument. And in fact, my ocean monument hunt goes so poorly that the next trim I found was over an hour later when I happened to find a bastion, and it happened to have the bastion armor trim somewhere around here. Oh, there we go, never mind. My collection is coming along nicely now, by the way. In fact, I decide, since the ocean monument isn't coming my way, why don't I set out on the adventure for a woodland mansion? This is made a lot easier with a woodland mansion map I decide to trade with from a villager. Having all these emeralds from earlier has really come in handy, and so I use my geography skills to follow the map, and eventually I end up in the place where the Vex armor trim exists. I actually have a pro tip for this place. There are so many chests in a woodland mansion, but if you want to get through them all quickly, I like to use the don't subscribe to IBX Toycat technique. Obviously, greater than 99% of house fires happen to non-subscribers, which means that these illagers end up having the wrong type of housewarming party. However, that does mean that all of the chests become very visible, and what's that? Oh, there we go, Vex armor trim, sorted it. Is that the mansion trim that I was looking for? Yes, yes it is. I have somehow just nailed getting one of the rarest armor trims in my collection, and I'm feeling real good. I feel so good that when I go through the Nether and find a Nether fortress, I know it's my time, I know it's my moment, and that's why when I don't find an armor trim, I realize that I will never have luck with Nether fortresses. I will just never find that loot. I do decide to take some of the luck regarding finding structures into my own hands again. After the successful woodland mansion map, I get myself an ocean monument map, and it was not useful at all. The first guardian does not drop a trim, the second guardian does not drop a trim, and the third guardian does not drop a trim. It was a lot of fighting, a lot of near-death situations, and all I can say is I'm off to find another ocean monument. Except, even to distract myself from this, because it's becoming a lot of work, I decide to make myself something fun by going to the Nether and finding ancient debris. Well, I actually find ancient debris 16 separate times, and when I have that all, it ends up looking like this, which is enough for me to experiment with something fun, which is using netherite ingots, the most valuable resource in the game by some measures, using these netherite ingots to simply upgrade my leather armor with this nice netherite trim. In other words, leatherite armor is now officially mine. Was it worth the few hours? Yes, actually, it 100% was. The leatherite armor seems to imbue some real good luck on me because I find my first cherry grove biome for the world, which is a pretty good sign, and I decide to do the housewarming party of dreams, and yeah, it's on fire again. You get the point. I have an arson problem. This is something you should be fearful of, unless you're an Elder Guardian, in which case, clearly, this isn't a problem whatsoever. I go to another ocean monument and have no luck there whatsoever. Okay. No! Please don't tell me that's spawn. Please don't tell me it's spawn. Oh, God, I hate my life. I do find a guardian in a boat just outside of there. Oh, I also find another pillager outpost. This one has 5 separate iron golems in 6 separate cages, which to me feels just a little bit weird. That feels like too many cages. Are the pillagers into something weird? Well, I burn them all down just to test, and then the iron golems burn, which is clearly a sign they aren't liking being free. Maybe they wanted to be in the cages. This is a reminder of just how bad kink shaming is. Speaking of kink shaming, I think clearly I have a thing for punishment after all of this, because I go to another ocean monument and the first Elder Guardian doesn't drop a trim, neither do the other two. And so I'm really losing my mind at this point. I have everything I could get from a world. I have super maxed out armor. I have genuinely leatherite armor and so many armor trims, but I'm just never going to get this beautiful ocean monument trim that honestly isn't even the best one. I'm calling it beautiful to be polite. It's the type of beautiful that you have to say beautiful over and over again because it's not really beautiful, but after lamenting on this for long enough, I eventually find another ocean monument, and you know what happens in this one? I do actually get the ocean monument trim. Oh, chat, that's 4 items. There's no way. No, yeah, somehow. Wait, new recipe. Right, that looks like a, wait. Yes! Oh. Heck yes, that is good news to hear. So at this point, I'm missing just 3 trims that existed at the time. Obviously, there is the deep dark one. That's going to be a hard one. I'm missing the Nether Fortress one, not for lack of trying. And I'm also missing the Desert Temple one, weirdly enough. I have a lot of the crazy hard ones, but I'm missing Desert Temple. This seems like something that should be rectified, but the wildest thing is true. I've flown across tens of thousands of blocks of my world, and I've yet to find a single Desert Temple. This is something that's real odd because even while looking for the Desert Temple, one of the most common structures in the game, I find another mansion. And so I use my sneaky technique known as arson to get 2 separate trims. Actually, wait, it's not 2 trims. There's a 3rd trim in this chest as well. Why are there so many Woodland Mansion trims but so few of anything else? Anyway, I also find some more Pillager Outpost trims. That's not much of a surprise. I repair my elytras and I use them to fly around my world desperately searching for a desert or a deep dark. Which one do you think I find first? If you guessed deep dark, somehow you'd be right because the warden spawns ancient cities. So this is a fine. Okay, break that. Okay, that's bad, right? Okay, I need to see. I need to get out of here. I need to fly out of here. Which way can I fly? And I have to fly right out there. I look underneath any mountain I can find for any sign of an ancient city, and I do keep finding these deep darks, but I just also am being attacked by wardens, which is why I'm so surprised when after just a few of those, I finally find a desert temple, and it doesn't have a trim. But I find a 2nd desert temple, and there's no trims in there. But the 3rd desert temple finally has this all-important dune trim for me. A share is bad. Oh, yes! 9 trims! 9 trims. Oh, wow. Wow. That is amazing. Adding to my collection, there are now just 2 trims left to get at the current time, and I need to do my very best to get them, which is why I pick a fight with an Enderman and don't take any precautions. If he knows you have it, and he's gonna beat you to death if you don't give it to him. Oh, I should have got inside. No, why? Why did I not do my little technique? I thought I was strong. It's fine. It's fine. Wait, that wasn't smart. I lost all of my trims. I'm gonna have to go back very far to get them, but I now have just 3 Minecraft days to find the last 2 trims. Am I going to be able to find 2 of the rarest trims in Minecraft in just 3 days? This is something that seems impossible, but as I enter the Nether, I now have an elytra to fly around desperately looking for a fortress, and I find fortress after fortress, but I don't have luck with those, and just as things are looking real bad, I come back to the overworld and I decide I'm gonna find myself one of these ancient cities because spawn happens to be on a mountain. This is a great place to be for the end of the 100 days as I finally complete all of the trims right, and so as I look around, I do find a deep dark biome, and I dig desperately hoping that I'll find an ancient city, which is something I don't do because the 100 days are now officially up. However, here's the real fun thing about that you might enjoy. Just a couple of 100 blocks away from where I was when the 100 days ticked up is this. That's right, I was just a few short minutes away from finding my first ancient city. By the way, when I loaded up this world, it actually told me exactly how big it was. Over 2 gigabytes, this Nomad run has been the very biggest world I've ever created. So much exploration was done to find structure after structure after structure, you know, dozens of pillager outposts and so many ocean monuments, let alone the Nether exploration, that I've now made my biggest world in Minecraft history ever. However, I did say, even though we've now made a copy of the world, by the way, if you want to download this world yourself, because it's 2.6 gigabytes, I can't make the link public, but any member to the channel, you'll be able to download this if you want to see it for yourself, if you enjoyed the series, which is still available to watch. Let me show you the rare things I've come across and stored in my ender chest of goodies. First things first, a goat horn. Kind of nice, right? We also got some ancient debris, and obviously every single smithing template, which I store in this lovely, shulker box over here. I'm missing a few of them, although I've got another goat horn and my dragon egg indeed, but I think this is a nice collection of rare stuff, before considering that I've got a whole shulker box full of netherrack and gravel from the ancient debris mining, but I've also got things like the wet sponges right here. So this is my wet sponges, my amethyst. These are things that you'd like to have from your journey around the world. My leatherite armor is a pretty decent one too. I like it a lot. Diamond's nice, but leatherite's better. And then also, I have all of the crazy stuff that I picked up while I was in, the end. As you can see, Elytra is a galore. I've got myself a Bane of Arthropod sword. What more could you want? I got myself a lot of fun stuff during these 100 days, and I think that's a fun reminder that if you have ever wanted to be without a base, it is at the very least a very good way to start a Minecraft world, because now if I wanted to, I'd be in a great place to make a base, which is something you can do using my world if you'd like to, if you are a member. I'll leave a link to download that on the community page. If you're not though, thank you very much for joining me on this video, and now I'll finally answer the question I know you've been asking: how many times did you die? And it's funny, if you watch the whole thing, you might be under-surprised by this. From this video, I couldn't show you every single death, but the number of them that I had, I think it's under N for some reason. Number of deaths, 34. Every 3 Minecraft days, or about just under every hour, I had a Minecraft death, and every 100 Minecraft days, I potted 1 plant. I also opened a lot of shulker boxes. I sneaked for hours, apparently. I talked to 17 villagers. Wow, that's more than the number of people I speak to in my life. And more importantly, I absorbed 54 damage. Wait, that can't be right. Really, only 54 was enough to kill me? You know what, whatever. I opened 390 chests too, and I didn't eat any cake slices. What was even the point? I think Java's really fun for having these statistics, by the way. It shows me how many blocks I've mined as well. You can see, that's a pretty fun one, right? Like, I've mined 1,200 deep slate, which doesn't seem like a lot. But if we go up to like netherrack, I'm sure we can actually click it. 15,000 netherrack. It's really fun to like look through the stuff. Will it show me how far I've traveled actually? Distance traveled. So we traveled for 64 kilometers on sprinting, and 108 by flying, and 53 by walking. However, pretty low when it comes to boat at 16, although Elytra at... Wait, what is distance flown and what is distant Elytra? How are they so different? I have a lot of questions about Java. I don't think I'll ever know the answer, but for now I can say thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, because if you did, please do like. This is the biggest and hardest one to make for a long, long time, so please, I'd appreciate it. Oh, and if you don't want house fires, you could do whatever you want to. There's lots of great fire prevention mechanisms. You could get a fire alarm. Any of these will work just great, probably. You could also subscribe, I guess. Maybe. Might work.